Aliens didn't know who'd come until the Deathworlders from the galaxy appeared. The sky above Zerathia was not like the skies humans might have imagined. It was a vast expanse of deep violet, dotted with floating crystalline clouds that glimmered like shattered glass in the light of two suns. Below, the cities of Zerathia spread across rolling hills, their towers shaped like spirals and spirals within spirals, a testament to the aliens' sense of geometry and beauty. It was a world of harmony, a world that had never known real war, a world that had lived for centuries in isolation. The aliens who lived there were tall and slender, with smooth skin that shifted colors according to their emotions. Their eyes were large, reflective, and luminous, capable of seeing in a spectrum far beyond human vision. They prided themselves on intelligence, on technological mastery, and on their ability to solve problems with reason rather than force. But today, the Council of Zerathia felt unease, a shadow across their minds that even their advanced sensors could not dismiss. "Reports from the edge of our galaxy," said High Chancellor Viral, his tone calm but carrying a tension beneath the surface, "indicate that an unknown fleet approaches. Its size is not enormous, yet its composition, it is unlike any pattern we have recorded." Around the circular council table, the other delegates murmured. Some of them displayed subtle flashes of fear, color shifts in their skin that betrayed emotion they usually hid. "Unknown fleet?" asked Delegate Shara, her voice precise. "Do sensors indicate their intent?" "Are they hostile?" "Unknown," Viral admitted. "The scans show that the ships are reinforced, built to survive in environments where even our strongest vessels would fail, and the occupants, their energy signatures suggest extreme resilience. Whatever they are, they do not resemble any species we have encountered." A long silence followed. In all their years, the Zerathians had faced no invader they could not easily handle. Their technology was elegant, their defenses formidable, yet the thought that something existed beyond their understanding, and something potentially unstoppable, was deeply unsettling. "Perhaps it is merely a scouting party," Shara suggested, though even she did not fully believe it. "Perhaps," Viral said, "but the patterns of their movement suggest more than scouting. They are deliberate, they are calculating, and they are coming straight for us." Meanwhile, across light years of space, the beings who would become the subject of so much alien fear were preparing in a far harsher environment. The planet Kragath was a world of extremes. Its gravity was far stronger than Zerathia's, crushing the bones of unadapted species. Its air was thin and dry, and its storms could strip the flesh from a body in minutes. Its wildlife was merciless, predators that could swallow a human whole, plants that could poison the unwise traveler with a single touch. And on this world lived the Deathworlders, humans who had been bred, trained, and hardened to survive exactly such conditions. They were not warriors because they sought war. They were warriors because the universe had tested them and they had endured. Their muscles were dense, their reflexes honed, their minds alert to every threat. They did not need advanced suits to survive, they adapted. They thrived where others would perish. In the training grounds of Kragath, a group of Deathworlders moved through the wilderness with silent precision. Jagged rock formations surrounded them, and the sky was a harsh orange, streaked with storms of electric dust. Every footstep, every movement was calculated. Every Deathworlder knew the planet was alive with danger. Predators hidden in the rocks, toxic spores in the air, sudden drops into gaping chasms. "Keep your focus," said Commander Rail, a tall man with a scar running down one cheek. His voice was calm, almost soothing, yet carried the weight of authority. "This is why we survive where others do not. Watch the winds, watch the ground, watch each other. The planet will test you and you will answer." The group spread out, moving like shadows. One member, Lyra, leapt across a chasm with a single bound, landing on the other side with ease. Another, Joran, spotted a camouflaged predator and diverted it with a rock thrown from afar, neutralizing the threat without a direct fight. Each action was a demonstration not of violence, but of skill, of awareness, of survival instinct that had been refined over generations. These were the humans the galaxy had never met. They did not seek conquest. They did not crave domination. They survived, they endured, and when necessary, they fought, and they won. Back on Zerathia, the Alien Council began preparing contingency plans. Their sensors tracked the approach of the unknown fleet, analyzing speed, formation, energy patterns. They discussed potential strategies, diplomacy, stealth, even preemptive attack, but every scenario left a lingering sense of unease. "What do we know of their numbers?" asked strategist Velker, whose skin now shimmered pale blue, a sign of tension. "Estimates are incomplete," Viral said. "But even with incomplete data, we can conclude that these beings are exceptional. They are not like any civilization we have encountered. They will endure conditions that would destroy us, and they will adapt faster than we can predict." A murmur spread among the council. For the first time in centuries, fear of a superior species had entered the minds of the Zorathians. Viral continued, "I have instructed the science division to prepare non-lethal deterrents, but we must consider that conventional tactics may fail. If they intend harm, we may have no choice but to face them in ways we have never imagined." Far across the void, the Deathworlder fleet moved steadily toward Zorathia. Their ships were rugged, functional, built not for elegance but for durability. Each vessel was equipped to survive extreme radiation, vacuum storms, and the impact of meteors. Inside, the humans prepared for exploration. Lyra checked her gear, ensuring that each tool, each weapon, and each sensor was ready. "Commander," she said, "readings show a habitable planet ahead, but the energy signatures are unusual." "The environment seems calm, but the life forms there's something different, something intelligent." Rail nodded. "Exactly, that is why we go, we explore, we learn, and if necessary, we survive. That is what we do." In the skies above Zorathia, the alien sensors finally picked up the first real signs of the approaching humans. The ships were strange, built in ways no Zorathian engineer would attempt. They were rugged, armored in layers, yet surprisingly agile. They carried no obvious weapons of mass destruction, but the aliens felt a primal awareness that these vessels could endure any assault Zorathia could muster. "Chancellor," Velker said, his voice trembling slightly, "these ships, they are built to survive worlds like Kragath. They are Deathworld hardened. Whatever is inside them, it is dangerous." Viral's skin flickered a dark shade, signaling deep concern. "I feared as much. We do not know if they come in peace. We do not know if we can stop them if they do not wish to be stopped. Prepare all defensive measures and alert the planetary forces. We may be facing a species unlike any other in the galaxy." Back on Kragath, the Deathworlders prepared for their mission. They did not see themselves as conquerors. They did not see themselves as invaders. They saw the universe as a challenge, and themselves as explorers ready to adapt to whatever the universe might throw at them. "Set coordinates for Zorathia," Rail commanded. "We do not know what we will find, but we will face it as we always have, with skill, with caution, and with strength." As the Deathworlder fleet crossed the distance, the skies of Zorathia seemed almost peaceful, a deceptive calm before the storm. The aliens did not yet know what was coming. They did not yet understand the strength, resilience, and courage of the beings heading straight for them. And so, the first part of the story closed not with conflict, but with anticipation. Two civilizations on the brink of encounter. One prepared only with technology and reason, the other prepared by survival, endurance, and unyielding spirit. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see which would adapt, which would endure, and which would leave a lasting mark on the universe. Little did the aliens know, the Deathworlders were coming, and they were not what anyone had ever expected. The twin suns of Zorathia cast long golden shadows across the city of Lorinth, the capital of the planet. The crystal towers sparkled in the light, and the streets below were quiet, as citizens had been told to remain indoors until the council resolved the situation. For the first time in living memory, the Zorathians felt fear, a feeling that had never been part of their civilization. High Chancellor Viral stood at the observation platform of the central tower, his reflective eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. The alien ships shimmered like polished metal under the suns, and yet there was a simplicity to their design. They were not elegant like Zorathian vessels. They were practical. They were rugged. They were built for survival, not beauty. "They are different," Viral murmured. He turned to strategist Velker, who had grown increasingly pale, a sign of stress in Zorathian physiology. "I had hoped their approach would be cautious, but look at them. They move with confidence. They do not hesitate. Whatever beings inhabit those ships, they are not easily intimidated." Velker's skin flickered, a subtle warning of anxiety. "High Chancellor, our scanners cannot fully analyze their energy signatures. They are resilient, more so than any species we have studied." Our defensive projections may not be effective. Viral nodded. Prepare a delegation. We will attempt peaceful contact. If we fail, we must be ready to defend ourselves. But we cannot strike first. We must understand what is coming before it is too late. In the orbit of Zerathia, the Deathworlder fleet had slowed. Commander Rail stood on the bridge of the flagship Iron Horizon, watching the planet below. "Scans show a habitable planet, Commander," reported Lyra, her voice calm as always. "Atmosphere breathable, gravity slightly weaker than Kragath, moderate temperatures. Life forms detected intelligent but primitive in their technology compared to us." Rail's eyes narrowed. "Primitive or not, they are sentient. We must respect them. Our orders are to explore, not to conquer. Observe, communicate, and if necessary, survive. That is our priority." Another human, Joran, monitored the alien transmissions. "Commander, they are sending signals, structured patterns, likely an attempt at communication." "They are cautious. They know we are here, but they do not yet understand us." Rail nodded. "Good. Prepare the first contact team. We will meet them on their terms." On Zerathia, the council convened in a chamber made of translucent crystal, each wall glowing faintly with embedded energy lines. The delegates were nervous, yet they maintained their calm. Their species had always solved problems through intelligence, not conflict. But now the unknown had arrived. A message arrived from the orbiting ships. The alien translators worked quickly, decoding the signals into sounds and symbols. The message was simple, polite, and yet carried the unmistakable weight of confidence. "We are explorers. We mean no harm. We seek knowledge of your world and of your people. We are prepared to answer questions and respect your laws." Viral exhaled slowly. "They speak with clarity. They are not aggressive. But there is something in their presence, something primal, as if they are prepared for any challenge." Delegate Shara's skin flickered pale green, a sign of curiosity. "High Chancellor, should we send an envoy to meet them? Perhaps we can understand them better." "Yes," Viral replied. "Prepare a small delegation, take care, but do not hesitate. We must know who we are dealing with." The alien delegation prepared to board the human vessel. Their suits were sleek, filled with life support and protective energy fields. They were ready for negotiation, not for combat. None of them had imagined that the beings they were about to meet could survive the vacuum of space or the extremes of other planets without such protections. On the Iron Horizon, Commander Rail watched the aliens approach. His team was ready, armed with survival tools, environmental gear, and knowledge of countless hostile worlds. Yet none of them raised a weapon. That was not how Deathworlders approached first contact. They respected life and sought to understand before deciding on action. The aliens boarded the human vessel, stepping onto the bridge with caution. Their luminous eyes scanned the humans, noting their physical strength, their steady movements, and their calm, confident presence. Viral spoke first. "We are the Council of Zerathia. You approach our world without precedent. Who are you and why have you come?" Commander Rail inclined his head slightly. "We are explorers from the galaxy known as Kragath. Our people are called Deathworlders. We do not come to conquer. We do not come to harm. We come to learn, to observe, and to understand. If necessary, we are prepared to defend ourselves, but we prefer dialogue over conflict." The aliens exchanged nervous glances. The humans were unlike any species they had ever studied. Their skin was varied, their muscles dense and capable of great strength, their eyes alert, unblinking, observing every detail of the room. Delegate Shara whispered to Viral, "High Chancellor, they are stronger than they appear. I can feel it." Even in this calm there is a presence, a readiness for danger. "Yes," Viral admitted. "This is not ordinary. They are prepared for any environment, any threat. I have never sensed such confidence before." An accidental alarm rang on the human vessel as one alien scientist accidentally touched a control panel. The lights flashed, and a defensive system activated. In an instant, the humans moved with precision. Joran quickly deactivated the system, but the aliens were shocked. "Do you always react like that?" asked one of the scientists. Rail smiled faintly. "We are trained to survive. Accidents are part of life, but we handle them without unnecessary harm. You must understand, on the worlds we come from, danger is constant. We survive it, and we adapt." The aliens began to whisper among themselves, fear mingling with awe. Their training had taught them to deal with threats, but nothing in Zerathian history had prepared them for beings like this. Viral realized that these humans were not just physically strong. They were mentally alert, quick thinking, and fearless. Any confrontation would not be simple. The first discussions between the two civilizations were cautious. The humans asked about the planet, its ecosystems, its society. The aliens explained, describing centuries of peaceful living, their technology, and their philosophy of reason over force. The humans listened, observing every detail. They asked questions not to challenge, but to understand the world they had arrived on. They noted areas of potential danger, resources that could sustain life, and even potential threats that the aliens themselves had not considered. One of the aliens, researcher Malvin, asked, "You survive worlds we cannot imagine. How do you endure such extreme conditions?" Lyra smiled faintly. "We adapt. We are tested from birth in conditions most would find deadly. Our strength is in our resilience, in our ability to think, to move, to survive. It is not about weapons. It is about understanding and overcoming whatever environment you face." Malvin's eyes widened. The alien had studied many species, many ecosystems, but these humans, these Deathworlders, were extraordinary. Viral, watching silently, understood the truth. These humans were not just explorers, they were forces of nature. If conflict came, Zarathia would need more than technology. They would need strategy, courage, and allies, but not all was calm. A small alien security team, untrained in subtle diplomacy, misinterpreted a human movement as aggression. Weapons were drawn. Rail noticed immediately. "Hold," he commanded. "No one fires, there is no threat." The security team hesitated, their eyes reflecting fear. Slowly, they lowered their weapons. The humans' calmness, their lack of panic, disarmed the situation without violence. The aliens were shaken. Here were beings who could defend themselves with skill and confidence, yet who chose restraint. This was unlike anything they had known. Viral finally spoke. "High Chancellor, we underestimated them. They are not just strong. They are disciplined, intelligent, and fearless. If they came with hostile intent, our civilization might not survive." Shara's voice trembled. "Yet they do not wish harm, they show control, they show respect. Could we learn from them?" Viral nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But we must be careful. Observation only goes so far, and we must prepare for all possibilities. These are not beings to be underestimated." Over the next hours, the humans and aliens exchanged knowledge. The humans asked about technology, resources, and history. The aliens learned about survival techniques, resilience, and the strength of adaptation. The humans demonstrated their ability to handle extreme environments. Using sensors and holograms, they showed how they could endure freezing temperatures, crushing gravity, and lethal radiation, all without specialized suits. The aliens were awed. They realized that the human strength was not just physical, it was mental, emotional, and instinctual. They survived because they had faced the impossible and conquered it over and over. By the end of the first day, the aliens were convinced of one truth. The Deathworlders were not just explorers. They were exceptional, dangerous if provoked, and unmatched in resilience. Yet they had not come to fight. They had come to learn. They had come to survive. And that was perhaps the most surprising lesson of all. As the suns of Zarathia set, casting long shadows over the crystal towers, the humans prepared for rest. Commander Rail looked out at the alien city. "We must be cautious," he said quietly. "This world is unlike any we have studied, and these beings, they are intelligent and curious. But remember, we adapt, we endure, we survive." Lyra nodded. "They are observing us as much as we are observing them, and already they understand we are different." And above the quiet city of Zarathia, the aliens watched the human vessels in orbit, sensing something profound. A civilization they had never expected, a strength they could not measure, a force they could not predict had arrived. The first contact had been made. And though no battle had occurred, the balance of fear and respect had shifted forever. Little did the aliens know, this was only the beginning. The first day of contact had ended without violence, but the tension in the hearts of the Zarathians had not faded. High Chancellor Viral sat in the council chamber with his advisors, the city's crystal towers glowing faintly around them. "We cannot ignore the reality," said strategist Velker, pacing along the chamber. "These humans, they are not ordinary. Their strength, their endurance, their mental focus, it is beyond anything we have studied. We must understand the full extent of their capabilities before we can proceed." Viral nodded gravely. "I agree. Prepare the trials. We will test their adaptability, their strategy, and their ability to survive. Not to harm them, but to see if they are truly capable of handling our most extreme environments. The council deliberated for hours, carefully crafting scenarios that would challenge the humans. They designed simulations that included lethal wildlife, harsh terrain, and environmental hazards that no ordinary species could endure. In orbit, Commander Rail received the notification from Zarathia. They request participation in what they call a test, he said, reading the message. They wish to see how we handle challenges on their planet. Lyra raised an eyebrow. They mean danger. They wish to observe our reaction under stress. Rail smiled faintly. Then we will give them what they want. But remember, these trials are not for us to dominate. We adapt, we endure, and we learn. That is our way. The first trial took place on Zarathia's southern plateau, a rugged landscape filled with jagged rocks, deep ravines, and forests that hid predators unknown to most species in the galaxy. The aliens had prepared devices to simulate extreme conditions, sudden storms, shifting terrain, and simulated predators that combined technology and instinct. The humans were to navigate this land, reach specific checkpoints, and return safely. The Deathworlders stepped onto the plateau, moving silently and with purpose. Joran adjusted his sensor pack, noting the readings of gravity, wind, and predator activity. Lyra scanned the horizon, identifying a path that minimized danger without compromising efficiency. Commander Rail walked at the center, observing his team's movement. The first challenge appeared immediately. A sudden storm of crystal shards erupted from the mountains. They fell like a rain of knives, and the air hummed with energy. The Zarathian scientists observed eagerly, expecting the humans to struggle. But the Deathworlders moved fluidly. They dodged, rolled, and used the environment to shield themselves. When a shard ricocheted dangerously close, Lyra leapt to the side and used a rock to deflect it, saving herself and Joran from injury. One of the alien observers whispered to Viral, "They are faster than we anticipated, and their reflexes precise, almost perfect." Viral's skin flickered a dark shade, a sign of unease. "This is only the beginning. Watch carefully. They are being tested, and yet they adapt almost instinctively." Next, the humans encountered a predator simulation, a mechanical beast with reinforced jaws, sharp claws, and sensors that mimicked predatory instincts. It lunged toward Joran, who dove to the side, grabbing a flexible vine-like plant and using it to entangle the creature's leg. Lyra quickly disabled the creature's energy core, stopping it without causing harm. The aliens gasped. They had expected humans to rely on weapons and brute force. Instead, the Deathworlders used strategy, improvisation, and the environment to neutralize threats. "They do not kill unless necessary," whispered researcher Malvin, a young scientist. "They neutralize, they adapt, they survive." Viral nodded slowly. "Yes, that is their strength. They are unpredictable because they do not follow standard patterns of behavior. If conflict comes, we cannot anticipate their methods." The third challenge was the ravine crossing, designed to test physical endurance. The ravine stretched hundreds of meters wide with jagged rocks below. A strong wind blew from both sides, threatening to push anyone off balance. Sensors indicated extreme gravitational fluctuations in the area, making jumps and climbs even more dangerous. Without hesitation, Lyra took the lead. She leapt across smaller gaps, assessed the terrain, and calculated the safe paths for her teammates. Joran followed, swinging across natural vines, landing lightly on protruding rocks. Even Commander Rail navigated the ravine with fluid precision, keeping constant communication with his team. The aliens watched in astonishment. Every step was calculated. Every movement was efficient and safe. There was no panic, no hesitation, only adaptation and focus. Malvin turned to Viral, eyes wide. "High Chancellor, they are beyond anything we have recorded. Their ability to survive extreme conditions, it is extraordinary." Viral's skin shifted to a pale violet. "Yes, and they do it calmly, without arrogance, without panic. We may not be able to challenge them directly. We must continue observing." The final challenge was the forest maze, designed to test intelligence, teamwork, and problem-solving. The maze contained camouflaged traps, moving walls, and simulated predators that could strike without warning. The humans entered with confidence, communicating silently through hand signals and gestures. They avoided traps, redirected predators, and created temporary bridges over gaps using branches and vines. At one point, a mechanical predator ambushed them from above. Rael acted instantly. He caught a falling vine, swung to the side, and kicked the creature away, while Lyra disabled its core. Joran covered their rear, ensuring no further threats emerged. The aliens were stunned. They had not expected humans to move with such grace under danger, to coordinate without error, to think creatively in a chaotic environment. Viral spoke softly to Malvin. "Observe carefully. This is not ordinary behavior. These humans, they do not merely survive. They adapt, anticipate, and overcome. If they faced war, entire fleets would struggle against them." After completing the maze, the humans reached the final checkpoint. The aliens had arranged a simulated energy field designed to test their endurance. The field emitted pulses that could disable most species. Rael turned to his team. "Stay calm, observe, adapt, survive." The humans moved carefully, timing each step with precision. They used the terrain to shield themselves, avoided direct contact with the pulses, and guided each other safely across. By the time they reached the end, every human was unharmed, every pulse neutralized. The aliens, observing from a distance, were speechless. Not one of the humans had faltered, not one had failed, and yet there had been no unnecessary violence. Viral's skin shimmered a deep shade of concern. "They are not just strong, they are disciplined, intelligent, and adaptable beyond comprehension. This changes everything." After the trials, the humans and aliens met in a neutral chamber. The aliens, still in awe, could barely hide their admiration. Malvin finally spoke. "We underestimated you. Your abilities, your resilience, your intelligence, it surpasses anything in our records." "You are exceptional." Rael inclined his head respectfully. "We are humans from the galaxy of Kragath. Our people are called Deathworlders. We survive because we must. We adapt because the universe is unpredictable. We endure because we have no choice but to endure. That is our way. We do not seek conflict, but we do not fear it." Viral nodded slowly, processing the words. "I understand, and yet your presence here is unsettling. If ever your kind came with hostile intent." He paused, the thought too troubling to finish aloud. Lyra smiled faintly. "Then the universe would learn quickly that underestimating humans is dangerous. But we do not come as conquerors. We come to explore, to learn, and to survive." The council remained silent for a long moment. They had faced threats before, but never like this. They had studied countless species, recorded thousands of civilizations, and yet these humans defied every expectation. Viral finally spoke. "High Council, we have learned an important truth today. These humans, they are not merely explorers. They are forces of nature, and if we are to survive, we must treat them with respect and perhaps learn from them as well." That evening, as the sun set and the twin moons rose, the Deathworlders prepared to rest. The trials had tested them, but they had passed with skill and confidence. Commander Rael looked at his team. "You have done well," he said quietly. "These trials were designed to challenge us, but we have adapted, endured, and overcome. Remember, this is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of unknowns, and wherever we go, we survive because we are humans, because we are Deathworlders." Lyra nodded. "They have seen what we can do, and now they understand why we survive where others fail." Above the city of Zarathia, the council watched the humans from a distance. They had tested the Deathworlders and found them stronger, faster, and more adaptable than anything in the galaxy. A sense of awe mixed with fear settled over them. Malvin whispered to Viral, "High Chancellor, if these humans ever come as enemies, we would be helpless." Viral nodded, eyes reflecting both respect and concern. "Yes, and yet they do not come as enemies. That is what is most remarkable. Their strength is tempered with wisdom, their power tempered with restraint. We have much to learn from them, and we must do so carefully." The first true understanding of the Deathworlders had been achieved. The aliens now knew that these humans were unlike any species they had encountered, beings capable of surviving and thriving where all others would fail. And the humans, unaware of the full extent of the aliens' fear and admiration, rested under the twin moons, ready for whatever challenge the galaxy might bring next. The suns of Zarathia rose again, casting golden light across the crystalline towers. The aliens had spent the night reviewing the results of the trials. Every holographic recording, every sensor reading, every observation was analyzed in meticulous detail. High Chancellor Viral paced the chamber of the council, his elongated fingers tapping lightly against the crystal table. "We have learned much from these humans," he said quietly. "They are not merely explorers. Their strength, endurance, and intelligence surpass any species we have encountered, but there is another matter we cannot ignore. Strategist Velker tilted his head, signaling curiosity. High Chancellor, what is this matter? Viral gestured to a star map hovering in the center of the room. A cluster of hostile ships approached from beyond Zarathia's sector, traveling at high speed. The Zythurians, Viral said, they have conquered worlds before, dozens of systems. They consume everything in their path, and now they are moving toward our region. The council gasped. While the Zarathians had prepared for threats, they had never faced a species as relentless as the Zythurians. Their technology was advanced, their ships formidable, and their strategy efficient. Any confrontation would be catastrophic. But what can we do? Asked Delegate Shara, her luminous eyes reflecting fear. Our defenses are strong, but they are not enough against such numbers. We may be destroyed before we can mount a real defense. Viral's skin shifted a dark shade, a signal of deep concern. That is why we must consider an alliance with the humans, Velker blinked. The humans, you suggest cooperation with them? Yes, Viral replied. They are unlike any species we have encountered. They do not merely survive, they adapt, endure, and overcome. If we are to face the Zythurians, their skills may be the key to our survival. Meanwhile, on the surface, Commander Rail and his team of Deathworlders had been briefed on the potential threat. Sensors detected the Zythurian fleet, a mass of black and silver vessels moving with precision and menace. Lyra studied the readings. Commander, their approach is calculated. They are fast, organized, and likely will attack immediately if they detect resistance. Zarathia alone would not survive. Rail's jaw tightened. Then we must ensure they do not fight alone. The aliens have seen what we can do. Now it is time to work together. But remember, our methods are different. They rely on technology. We rely on adaptation, on survival instincts. We must combine these strengths. Joran nodded. And show them that even the most advanced weapons cannot replace intelligence and resilience. Rail smiled faintly. Exactly. Prepare the plan. We begin training immediately. The humans and aliens met in the central chamber, a neutral ground where neither species had full control. The air was filled with anticipation, and for the first time, mutual respect. Viral addressed the group. We face an imminent threat. The Zythurians are relentless and numerous. Our technology alone may not be sufficient. We have seen what you humans can do. We propose an alliance. Rail considered the offer carefully. We do not fight for conquest. We fight to survive and to protect. If working together ensures your survival, then we accept. But we will lead in situations where adaptation and resilience matter. Your technology is powerful, but it cannot replace instinct and experience. The aliens exchanged uncertain glances, but Viral nodded. Agreed. Your methods will complement ours. Together we may stand a chance. Thus, the unexpected alliance was formed, one built on mutual respect, necessity, and recognition of each other's strengths. Training began immediately. The aliens provided access to their technology, sharing strategies, weapons, and defensive systems. The humans, in turn, taught survival techniques, guerrilla tactics, and ways to use the environment to their advantage. In the forests near the southern plateau, the Deathworlders led alien units through drills designed to test adaptation under pressure. Lyra demonstrated how to use natural formations for cover and how to neutralize threats with minimal risk. Aliens struggled at first, relying too much on technology, but they quickly adapted under the humans' guidance. Commander Rail watched carefully. Do not fear the environment. The world itself can be a weapon if you understand it. Anticipate danger. Adapt. Endure. By the third day, the alien units were moving with surprising efficiency. They used vines to swing across chasms, rocks to create barriers, and their energy weapons with tactical precision rather than relying on raw firepower. Viral observed from a distance. Their training, it is remarkable. Humans are teaching them to think, to adapt, not merely to fight. This is a new form of strength, one we have not considered before. During one exercise, a simulated ambush was set up by the humans. Mechanical predators and terrain hazards challenged the aliens' ability to adapt. Initially, chaos erupted. Alien units stumbled, misused their energy weapons, and panicked under stress. But Lyra intervened. She guided small groups with hand signals, redirecting them through safer paths and demonstrating how to anticipate threats before they appear. Slowly, the aliens adapted. They moved with calm efficiency, dodging hazards and neutralizing threats without relying solely on weapons. Viral was impressed. They are not only surviving, they are learning to think like us, like the Deathworlders. If this is how they will fight the Zythurians, there may be hope yet. As training continued, the humans also learned from the aliens. They studied advanced defensive systems, energy shields, and long-range tactical planning. Commander Rail and his team integrated these systems into their survival strategies, creating hybrid tactics that combined human adaptability with alien technology. One evening, after a long day of exercises, Rail and Viral stood together overlooking the city. The alien had grown to respect the humans, though he still felt cautious awe. "You are extraordinary," Viral admitted. "Even with our technology, we cannot predict all you can do." "Your resilience, your calm under pressure, it is unmatched," Rail smiled. "We survive because the universe is always testing us. We adapt, endure, and overcome. It is not about strength alone, it is about understanding the challenge and responding effectively." "That is what humans do," Viral nodded. "Then we must combine that with our technology. Together, perhaps we can face the Zythurians." The first reports of the Zythurian fleet's arrival confirmed the urgency. Their ships, sleek and black as void metal, moved with terrifying efficiency. Energy signatures indicated massive firepower, and preliminary scans suggested advanced tactics designed for planetary conquest. Velker looked at the fleet and whispered, "If we face them alone, we would be annihilated. Even with our defenses, survival is uncertain." Viral turned to the humans. "Your methods, your strategies, your resilience, they may be the key to saving our world." Rail nodded. "Then we must fight smart. We cannot defeat them with strength alone. We must use strategy, environment, and surprise, and we must survive together." In preparation for the battle, humans and aliens worked to combine their strengths. The Deathworlders designed traps and ambush zones, teaching aliens how to use the terrain effectively. The aliens provided energy barriers, advanced weaponry, and fleet coordination. Together, they created a defense plan unlike anything the Zythurians had encountered before. Joran, observing from a hilltop, whispered to Lyra, "They'll never expect this. They think technology alone wins wars, but we can use their confidence against them." Lyra smiled. "Exactly. Adaptation, intelligence, and resilience, they underestimate that. And that is where we will succeed." By the fifth day, the Alliance was ready. The aliens had learned to anticipate threats, move with agility, and work as a team under stress. The humans had integrated alien technology into their survival tactics, creating hybrid strategies that were both innovative and lethal. High Chancellor Viral addressed the combined forces. "We face a powerful enemy. The Zythurians are relentless, but today we are united. We fight together, combining your extraordinary skills, humans, with our technology and strategy. Together we stand a chance." Rail stood at the front, his team flanking him. "Remember, we do not fight for conquest. We fight for survival. We fight to protect life, not destroy it. And we fight smart, adapt, endure, overcome." The humans and aliens shared a look of mutual respect. In that moment, any fear of the unknown melted away, replaced by trust, strategy, and determination. Above the horizon, the Zythurian fleet grew larger, a dark wave moving with certainty and purpose. But for the first time, the aliens of Zarathia did not feel helpless. They had allies, strong, fearless, and adaptable. And they had learned a lesson the galaxy rarely taught. Sometimes the greatest strength is not in technology alone, but in courage, adaptation, and resilience. The stage was set. The battle for Zarathia's survival, the first test of an unexpected alliance, and the confrontation with the Zythurians had begun, even if the first shots were yet to be fired. And somewhere in the human fleet, Commander Rail smiled faintly. They had trained. They had adapted. They had prepared. Now they would endure. The skies above Zarathia were dark with the shadow of approaching Zythurian ships. Their black and silver hulls reflected little light, moving with terrifying precision across the violet atmosphere. Sensors in the city blared warnings, energy shields hummed, and alien citizens watched from their homes, fear evident in the subtle color shifts of their skin. High Chancellor Viral stood on the observation platform, his eyes reflecting the approaching fleet. Beside him, strategist Velker trembled slightly. "High Chancellor, their numbers, they are overwhelming. Our technology alone cannot stop them." Viral's skin shimmered with determination. We have allies, humans from Kragath, the Deathworlders. They have survived worlds far harsher than this, adapted to every challenge and overcome every danger. Today, we fight together, and we endure. In orbit, Commander Rail surveyed the Zythurian fleet. His crew moved with quiet precision, making final preparations. Lyra studied the alien defensive grids, calculating points where their hybrid tactics would be most effective. Joran checked weapon systems and environmental controls, ensuring every crew member would function at peak efficiency during the coming battle. "We know what is coming," Rail said. "The Zythurians rely on brute force and numbers. We rely on adaptability, strategy, and endurance. We fight smart, not just strong. Today we protect life. Today we survive, and together we will prevail." The humans and aliens deployed across Zarathia, creating a network of defense points. Aliens positioned energy shields around cities, while humans set traps, ambush points, and hazard zones designed to exploit the environment. Every ravine, cliff, and forested area became a potential advantage in their strategy. The first wave of Zythurian ships entered the atmosphere, firing energy beams at the planet's surface. Cities shuddered as shields absorbed the initial impacts. Alien weapons returned fire, but the Zythurians were numerous, their ships moving faster and with greater coordination than anything the Zarathians had ever faced. Then the humans moved. Commander Rail led a squad into a narrow canyon where Zythurian drop pods had landed. The aliens watched with astonishment as the Deathworlders disappeared into the shadows, using rocks, vines, and the terrain itself to approach unseen. A drop pod opened, releasing Zythurian soldiers. The humans engaged, not with rage, but with precision. Lyra vaulted over a fallen boulder, tripping a hidden net trap that immobilized two invaders. Joran used a vine to swing across a chasm, kicking a soldier into a shallow ravine. Every move was calculated, every action effective, yet no unnecessary killing occurred. Viral watched, awe evident in his eyes. "They are extraordinary, every movement is perfect, every tactic adaptive. If our people were to fight alone, we would fail, but with them, there is hope." Above the planet, human and alien fleets coordinated attacks against the Zythurian ships. Aliens fired energy pulses while humans used smaller, nimble crafts to disrupt formations, draw enemies into traps, and exploit weaknesses in the larger vessels. A squadron of Zythurian ships attempted to flank the planet's orbit. Lyra piloted a small craft with Joran at her side, weaving through asteroid debris and using sudden bursts of speed to lure the enemy into a magnetic trap created by the alien fleet. One by one, the Zythurian ships were disabled, their engines disrupted, their numbers thinning. On the surface, the Deathworlders continued to neutralize threats. They moved silently through forests and canyons, guiding alien units to safer positions while drawing Zythurians into areas where the environment itself became a weapon. Falling rocks, hidden pits, and natural barriers turned every ambush into a strategic advantage. A young alien soldier whispered to his commander, "High Chancellor, they are not just surviving, they are shaping the battlefield. It is as if the planet itself obeys them." Viral nodded silently. "Yes, they fight with the universe itself as their ally." This is the difference between ordinary beings and Deathworlders. The battle intensified as the Zythurian warlord, a massive creature commanding energy from a crystal core on his flagship, entered the fray. His energy beams cut through the skies, devastating both human and alien forces. The Council feared that the tide was about to turn, but Commander Rail had anticipated such a threat. "Divide and flank," he instructed. "Lure the warlord into terrain we control. Use every advantage. Adapt and endure. Neutralize his advantage." The humans split into squads, drawing the warlord's attention while the aliens maintained energy shields and precise targeting. Lyra led a small team to a high cliff overlooking the battlefield. Using natural cover and alien technology, they directed energy pulses to disrupt the warlord's power source. Joran moved quickly along a hidden ridge, setting up traps that redirected the warlord's attacks into deep chasms. Every strike, every move was designed not just to survive, but to control the battlefield through intelligence and adaptability. Meanwhile, on the ground, alien and human units worked in perfect harmony. Aliens provided long-range firepower, covering humans as they moved through hazardous zones. Humans guided alien squads around hidden traps and ambush points, teaching them when to move, when to hold, and when to strike. An alien soldier gasped as a human saved him from an energy blast by using a natural rock formation as a shield. They are teaching us without words," he exclaimed. "Yes," replied another. "Every movement, every tactic, they survive and they guide us." "I have never seen such skill," Commander Rail observed quietly. "This is how wars are won, not through fear, not through numbers, but through adaptation, intelligence, and courage. That is what it means to endure. That is what it means to be human." The warlord's energy core glowed brighter as he realized the humans were adapting faster than he could predict. He unleashed a massive energy pulse, intending to wipe out the humans in one strike. Lyra's team reacted instantly. Using alien shielding technology combined with their natural agility, they diverted the pulse into a ravine filled with energy-absorbing minerals, neutralizing the attack without harm. The Zythurians were stunned. Joran activated a series of mechanical traps, sending falling rocks and vines to immobilize the warlord's support units. Commander Rail used the terrain, guiding the warlord into a canyon where natural magnetic fields interfered with his energy core. The warlord struggled against the trap, but the Deathworlders moved with precision, striking from all sides while minimizing unnecessary destruction. Alien forces fired coordinated energy beams, further disrupting the Zythurian leader. Within hours, the tide had turned. The Zythurian fleet, confident in their numbers and technology, was now being overwhelmed by humans and aliens working in perfect coordination. The Deathworlders, adaptability and endurance, combined with alien technology, created a synergy that the Zythurians could not counter. By nightfall, the battlefield was silent. The Zythurians had retreated, their ships damaged, their strategy shattered. Alien forces surveyed the terrain in awe. The Deathworlders stood among them, calm and unbroken, ready for whatever threat might come next. High Chancellor Viral approached Commander Rail. Your people are beyond anything I have ever imagined. You have saved Zarathia. Your strength is unimaginable. If the Zythurians return, they will think twice before attacking." Rail shook his head modestly. "We do not seek glory, we survive, we protect life. That is what we do. You have your technology, we have our adaptability. Together we endure, that is the key." Viral's skin shifted to a deep shade of respect. "You are truly Deathworlders. The galaxy has never seen such beings. Your presence has changed our understanding of strength, courage, and survival." Lyra smiled faintly. "We are humans. We endure because the universe tests us. We survive because we adapt. That is who we are. And today, we have shown that even the greatest threats can be met if we work together and think beyond fear." The citizens of Zarathia emerged from their homes to see the survivors standing on the battlefield. Humans and aliens alike, united by courage and resilience, had endured what seemed impossible. Children watched with wide eyes and elders whispered in astonishment. One alien child asked, "High Chancellor, who are they?" Viral knelt, his eyes reflecting pride and awe. "They are humans, they come from a distant galaxy, they are Deathworlders, and today they have shown us what true strength looks like." The Deathworlders remained humble, preparing to depart when their mission was complete. Their presence had left a lasting mark, not through fear or domination, but through courage, adaptability, and respect for life. As the twin moons of Zarathia rose into the violet sky, Commander Rail looked to his team. "We have survived another challenge. But remember, the universe is vast and danger is everywhere. We endure, we adapt, we survive, and we always leave a legacy of courage." Lyra nodded. "And the galaxy will remember." Today, the Deathworlders have not just survived, they have inspired hope, respect, and a new understanding of what it means to endure. Above the battlefield, the Zythurian fleet retreated, their confidence shaken. They had faced beings they could not predict, forces they could not overcome. The Deathworlders had proven that strength was not just in numbers or technology, but in adaptation, intelligence, and courage. The humans departed quietly, leaving behind allies and a world forever changed. The aliens had learned a lesson that would echo for generations. Underestimate humans at your own peril, for no environment, no challenge, and no enemy could stop those who endure. And in the hearts of the Zarathians, a new respect had been born, one that would forever honor the legacy of the Deathworlders from the galaxy.